Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of A Journey to Happiness. So, today I wanted to dive into something that has become such a big part of my spiritual journey. And yes, I'm talking about food and what we put in our bodies. So, I know that when we think about spirituality, we often think about, meditation, prayer, energy work, shadow work, which are all extremely important. But what we put in our bodies, that's a huge part of the puzzle. So for me, that started when I realized that for most of my life, I've been putting literal fucking poison into my body without even realizing it. Things I thought were just normal or just food were actually making me feel tired and bloated and foggy and disconnected from myself. And once I started cleaning that up, everything changed for me. So today I want to share that story with you. I want to share this journey that I've been on recently when it comes to health and wellness. Um, so for me, first of all, I should start by a quick disclaimer here that I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. You have to do what's right for your body. This is just my journey, and I think it can resonate with other people. And if you want to use my tips, that would be great because I'm going to give you some tips, but I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. This is not, uh, you know, whatever. This is just not medical advice. Okay, so disclaimer here, I need to say that. So for me, I don't really know if there was like a specific wake up call that happened. I've been on the spiritual journey for a while. As you know, if you've been listening to this podcast, I've been talking about my spiritual journey. I've been talking about my relationship journey, my financial journey. And now I'm going to talk about my health journey because, I've gained 100 pounds in the last couple of years. I used to be very tiny. I thought when I was tiny that I was healthy. But the truth is, I wasn't. I might have looked good on the outside, but I wasn't freaking healthy. Like, are you kidding me? I was addicted to eating out, you know? I guess my journey started a couple years ago, but I don't really have a specific like wake up call moment. It was just like I know even when my kids were young, like I remember we just ate out a lot. Like I would try to make dinner. It was just hard. They were in sports and it was just, by the time you would get home, it's like 8 o'clock at night. Who wants to freaking cook that late at night? So we would just eat out and that just continued. We were big Door Dashers. I lived out in the country. We Door Dashed a lot. I love a good Big Mac, and pizza is like my favorite food ever. So I ate a lot of that stuff. And I know a couple years ago, so I got this insane need to start learning how to cook. Um, Not that I didn't know how to do a few things, but I was not somebody who liked the kitchen. People would talk about, oh, I love being in the kitchen. I love everything about it. I was like, how do you like the kitchen? Like for me, that was just like forbidden territory. Like I don't want to go near that kitchen. Like just let me order some pizza online and I'm fine. Like let me throw in something in the microwave. I'm good to go. And I was addicted to it because to be honest with you guys, it is designed to make us addicted to it. It is designed to make us addicted to the freaking food that we eat. So that was me. And then one day I just got this, like they call it inspired, like they call it being in alignment. They call it this inspired action. And I never really knew what that meant, but I just remember being one day, like I was inspired to start learning how to cook recipes online. And I went on TikTok and I started learning. And, my whole motto was like, if it's not edible, we'll still order pizza. But the fact was, most of it was edible. It might not have been super great. Some of it was, but it was still edible. And so that was where my journey started. And so again, I guess part of it too, like I worked on the road, I worked in home health, and so I started learning how to cook and I started learning these recipes. But of course, when I was on the road, I would still go out and I would eat fast food or whatever. And I'm a Big Mac girl. Like I love a good McDonald's Big Mac, right? I love them and I still love them. I don't eat them, but I still love them. And I just would go through McDonald's or Taco Bell or Wendy's or one of these fast food chains. And I remember like I would eat and I would feel like shit and I would always feel tired. And I thought that was normal. I thought that you were supposed to be tired after you ate. I thought that this was a normal thing that would happen. And as the universe would have it, I started getting things showing up on my FYP. And these things were about food. And it was, holistic practitioners. It was all of these different people talking about the food and the things that, you know, the way food affects us. And I found out through a lot of research that food is not supposed to make us feel that way. We're not supposed to be tired. We're not supposed to feel bloated. We're not supposed to have diarrhea or be constipated. If that's TMI, I'm sorry, but I'm a nurse, so for me, it's just common like talk here. But we're not supposed to feel those things. We're not. And when I started realizing that, I was like, holy shit, like, what is happening here? And I guess that was my aha moment. And so this is the thing. I started realizing through this spiritual journey that I'm on that our body is a vehicle. I know that for sure. It is a vehicle for the soul. It's just like a car. Okay, let's just use a car as an example. If you have a car, you get your oil changed, right? Most of us, we get our oil changed when it's due. We get it serviced. We have the brakes changed. We have all of the things done to it to keep it running smoothly. Our body works the same way. If we don't keep it running smoothly by keeping it healthy, then things are going to go fucking ape shit. And that is what we're talking about today because food is one of those big resources here. So for me, let me just look at my notes here because I just don't want to miss anything. Um, you know, I just began noticing after certain foods that I felt bad, not just physically, that was a big part of it, but emotionally. Those fast foods, those processed snacks and sugar-filled drinks and candies and whatever else, they weren't nourishing me. They were depleting me. And it wasn't just about weight or how I looked, though that sucks because like I said, I've gained so much weight over the last couple of years. But it was about how just disconnected I felt after eating those foods. And I started to see that more of the processed and artificial my food was, the more disconnected I was from my body and my spiritual clarity. So when I talk about processed foods, what are processed foods? So processed foods are the foods basically in the middle aisles of the grocery store. They are the foods that are packaged. They are also in the freezer sections, the TV dinners, the frozen chicken nuggets, the frozen everything other than vegetables. Like you can probably still get some frozen vegetables. Like I still buy like some frozen broccoli and stuff, and those are decent. But that is processed foods, and that is poisoning your body. The fast food is poisoning your body. There is a reason that a Big Mac tastes the same in Ohio as it does in New York, as it does in California. It tastes the same no matter where you go. Why is that? Because let's just be real. If you made a Big Mac at home, if you figured out how to make the sauce and you made the sandwich, or even if just a cheeseburger, let's just say that, right? Double cheeseburger. If you made that at home, it's not going to taste the same the next time you make it. It's going to taste better. It might taste worse. It's not going to be the same because nothing is going to be the same. But when you buy it from a fast food restaurant, it tastes the same no matter where you go. Why is that? Why is that? So, another part of my wake up call as I was going through this journey and realizing the different things about food and the things that we put in our body, it's not just food, it's the things we put on our skin, all that things. But for this purpose, for this podcast, we're talking about food specifically. You know, as I started to realize this, I was like, holy shit, like I have literally been poisoning my body. And I realized that first of all, let's just talk about the FDA, okay? So here goes my conspiracy theories, but I think we need to talk about them because there is something wrong with having a company, I don't know if that's what they're called, but let's just call them a company, that is the Food and Drug Administration. So food and drugs are combined in this sentence. That's what the FDA is. If you have a Food and Drug Administration, so the drug companies, they need to make money. That's your pharmaceuticals, okay? Your big pharmas. How are they going to make money? They're going to make money by us needing their prescriptions. Why do we need their prescriptions? Because we're sick. Well, how are we going to be sick? Because of the food that we are eating. Does this make sense to you guys? Because this is a key factor here. They need us. There is nothing more profitable than a sick child. Let that sink in for a minute. We need to be sick so that they can make money. That is the whole goal. So, how do they make us sick? By the food. We are living longer because we have the technology to live longer, but we are not healthier because of the shit that we're putting in our bodies, because of what America is feeding us. There are ingredients in our foods that are illegal, illegal, guys, in other countries. Illegal, okay? Why is it okay for us to ingest them, but not other countries? Okay, sorry, rant here. Let me give you an example. So, not from me, but from my mother. My mom has been sick for very many years. She had cancer a while back and she took some cancer drugs and her body has just been rot, right? Like it's been bad. Um, she has not been to a grocery store in over 5 years by herself. She's not been able to go and walk around one at all. And so recently we had a scare. I talk about it in earlier podcasts. And after that scare, she ended up getting some physical therapy. She also lived with us for a short time. We've been on this clean eating kick for a while, and I will give you some tips here shortly, so stay tuned for those. But she went home to live by herself again. We were very concerned for that. She told me the other day that she went to the store by herself for the first time in 5 years. She walked around for a half an hour. Can I tell you something? My mom has been eating cleaner also. She has cut out many of the things I'm going to talk to you about here in a minute, and her body is healing itself because that is what the body is designed to do. If you weren't born with it, you don't need to have it. Okay? Let that sink in for a minute. So, my mom has been eating cleaner and she was able to go to the store for herself for the first time in 5 years. She's almost able to take her trash out by herself. This is a big, big fucking step because she hasn't been able to do these things for years because her body was so in pain and it has just been kind of rotting away, to be honest with you. So, oh, that was a lot. I know. I'm sorry. Again, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just telling you what I know from my own experience. Okay. So let me just look at my notes here for a second. So I don't miss say anything. Okay, I'm not. So I've been on this journey, like I said, for a few years. What did I do? How did I start this journey? What did I start cutting out? Well, the first thing was, okay, first off, let me just start by saying this because I want to dispel a myth here. I should have started with this, but I'm just going to say it now. One of the myths is that eating clean. So, when I say eating clean, I should just explain that because I'm not saying dieting. I do not fucking diet. Like, I don't even like that word. It is not a diet. It's not this keto diet. It's not this cutting out sugar. It's not this, and this. It's not a diet. So for me, sugar is not really that big of an issue. I don't eat a lot of sweets. I stopped eating those a long time ago. It's just like I'm just not somebody who likes a lot of sweets. I do like carbohydrates and I do like pizza. I like Big Macs. That is like my thing. But I don't eat a lot of sweets. And let me just say, when I say eating clean, I'm talking about natural and whole foods. Natural whole foods. And one of the things that I always believed, and I used to say this all the time, was I can't afford it. I can't afford to eat healthy because healthy food is expensive and I can't afford it. And that's what I believed. And you want to know why I believed that? Because the fucking government wants us to believe that, you guys. I mean, they tell us that. It's on the news. Like they say, "Oh, it's so hard to eat healthy because it's so expensive." Okay, I've been eating healthy for a while, and it's really ramped up the last few months. And let me tell you something, my grocery bill has been cut in half. I am not spending nearly the money I was before. When I was buying frozen pizzas and chicken nuggets and french fries and all of the bad shit for you, I was spending at least $300 a week at the grocery store. I'm now down to probably like maybe $400 a month. And I have three other people here in my house with me. And I'm telling you. So, eating cleaner, what does that mean? It means eating natural and whole foods. So, I'm not saying you have to eat organic. So, I have been become a big shopper at Aldi's lately. Aldi's is a lot less expensive and they have a lot of things that are good for you. So, what was the first thing that I did? And this is something my mom did also is we cut out seed oils. So what is seed oils? Seed oils are your vegetable oils and your canola oils. There's probably more of them out there, but those are the two that like come to mind instantly for me. We stopped using those. Most of your fast food restaurants still use those. You want to know why? Because they used to use beef tallow. Beef tallow was super healthy for you. But you want to know what happened, a couple decades ago? Is the FDA came along and they said beef tallow is bad for you. You need to stop using it. And so all of the restaurants went to seed oil, aka vegetable oil. They also did this because it was cheaper. We now know that beef tallow is actually very good for you. And some restaurants are starting to go back to it, but just FYI, this is just how our government works, okay? However, in the home, you can use olive oil or avocado oil. I will tell you that olive oil is a little bit more pricey, but avocado oil is about the same price as vegetable oil. So if you're going to cook with oil, get avocado oil. When you look at ingredients on the food, this is what you need to start doing because honestly, your food should be, you should try to search for one ingredient foods. However, sometimes I do understand that that's hard. So look for ingredients. First of all, look for ingredients and make sure they don't have seed oils in them. Another example is peanut butter. We just went and bought peanut butter the other day. We always buy Jiffy. The regular Jiffy had vegetable oil in it. So we went to the natural Jiffy. Wasn't super great, but it was better than the regular Jiffy. That's just an example. So your food should have one to two ingredients in them. I want you to give yourself grace on this though, because it is hard. It's it's simple, but it's simple. It's not super easy, but it's simple. And so you need to look at those ingredients and figure out what you're putting in your body. If you have a long list of ingredients and you can't even pronounce those ingredients, then you should not be buying that product because it means it's got a bunch of shit that is going to cause you to be sick. So, sorry, I went off on a tangent, but vegetable oil is the first thing that I cut out. Any type of seed oils, I stopped. The other thing was I started getting more protein in my diet. So one of our favorite meals that we make is beef and rice. We just ground up some beef, we throw some onions in there, we throw some seasoning in there, we make some rice, we throw some Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes in the oven and we roast them and la da da, you have a meal on your hands. And it is a very tasty meal. I'm actually about to go eat some when I'm done with this podcast because I'm hungry and it's really good for you. The key is here you want to stay on the outside of the aisles. The outside is where it is. The inside aisles is where all your processed shit is, and you don't want to eat that stuff. Now, so I talked about the seed oils, I talked about the protein. Obviously, you want to get some fresh fruits and vegetables in your diet. So, like I said, this is simple. It's not super easy because this is the thing. It is cheaper. I'm going to tell you, you're going to save so much money by eating cleaner. However, you do have to take the time. So you have to take time to make the food. You have to take time to cut up the vegetables. But you can make time for that because this is your health. This is whether you live or die. You know, the stuff that they're putting in our foods, it really is poison. It is literally causing cancer. I mean, red 40, it's in half of the foods that we're eating. It's in my mom's fucking vitamins. Like she takes multivitamins and literally one of the ingredients is red 40. That's crazy to me. It's insane. Cut out the seed oils, cut out the processed foods. Start there. But I want to say that you need to give yourself some grace because it's taken me a few years to start really eating cleaner. You know, we eat eggs every morning. I love eggs. We eat eggs. We still do bacon. We'll do some sausage. We do burritos. We buy these burrito shells from Kroger's. They're like a one ingredient burrito shell. You know, we do Brussels sprouts. We do roasted carrots. We do regular potatoes too, but beef and rice are on the list. We do lots of chicken. We do salmon sometimes. We will do pork chops. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect here. I still eat, I made chicken noodle casserole the other night. Probably not the greatest, but it was at least a little better than what I used to do. But we try our best to stay away from the processed foods. And I'm telling you guys, your body will feel so much different. Now, it's not always just the food. I'm also going to say it's the movement. It's the movement that we do with our bodies because I also go to the gym 6 days a week. And, I might not see it on the scale yet, but it's the endurance. It's the way my body feels. It's the energetic force of my body. So I'm listening to my body. So if all of this confused you, because I know like I have some ADHD and I know I'm like kind of all over the place, my biggest tip for you would be pay attention to how your body feels when you eat food. Your body should not feel bloated. You should not feel tired. You should feel energized. If that is not happening, then you are not eating the right things. And let me tell you, your body will feel energized if you eat the right foods. If you eat the lean protein, the chicken, the pork chops, the um what I say, the beef, the chicken, the pork chops. Yes, if you eat that stuff and seasonings are going to be your greatest friend here because you need to season the shit out of that sometimes to make it taste good. The potatoes, the sweet potatoes, the Brussels sprouts, the carrots, the broccoli, the watermelon, the strawberries, the blueberries. We buy yogurt that has 25 grams of protein in it. We throw blueberries in there and we throw like granola in there. And let me tell you, like, I do not even crave the processed foods anymore. I don't crave any of that. I crave tomatoes and I crave, you know, beef and I crave Brussels sprouts and I crave rice and I crave those things because my palate has changed to want those things now. It's not going to be easy at first, but it will be worth it in the end. And give yourself a month here, and you will start to notice such a huge difference because we are literally poisoning our bodies. So if you are somebody like, again, just pay attention to how your body feels. If you feel bloated and you feel disgusting after you eat and you feel like you just want to take a nap or you don't have any energy, it's because of what you're putting in your body. And this is part of the spiritual awakening journey because our body is a vehicle for the soul. And that is what is happening. So, I know this podcast is a little different than what I normally talk about. I don't normally talk about health. This is a new journey for me the last couple years, but really ramped up in the last several months. And I just wanted to share it with you guys because it has been life changing to me. It's been life changing the way that my body feels. And to know that my mom went to the grocery store for the first time in 5 years because she feels like she can, and she has changed her diet, and it's only been maybe 2 months, maybe 2 months. So give yourself grace. I encourage you to start small. So start by cutting out the seed oils, that's your vegetable oil and your canola oil, and stop eating fast food. Let's just start there. Just start there. Start making your own things at home. There are so many videos on TikTok or Pinterest. You can find recipes, you know, and give yourself grace. If you don't know how to cook, it's fine. Just keep that in your head that like it's gonna be fine. That, you can, it's gonna be edible. First of all, it's gonna be edible. Like we just made something the other night, yesterday actually, and my son was like, just throw some chicken in the crock pot, throw some water in there so it doesn't dry out, and then we'll just like shred it up when we're done, and we'll throw some barbecue sauce on it and eat it as a sandwich. It was fucking delicious. Like it was definitely like a 7 out of 10. I mean, that's a win, right? So give yourself grace. Like if it's not good, you can always order pizza if you have to, right? If it's not edible. But I can pretty much assure you that whatever you try is going to be edible. So I'm telling you guys, it's been life changing. It's been life changing. So if you are on a spiritual journey and wondering where to start, you know, obviously meditation, prayer is good. All of those things are good. But also start with your plate, start small. Swap one processed food for a whole food. Drink more water and add a walk to your day. You don't have to go to the gym every day like I do, but just add a walk. Get some vitamin D. Over time, you're going to notice the shift, not just in your body, but in your energy, your clarity, and your connection to yourself. So I would love to hear some of your experiences if you are on this journey with me. Tag me on social media. I always put my Facebook on here. So send me a message and let me know how it's impacting your journey. And I think that's all I have for tonight. But thank you for spending time with me today. And until next time, remember, you are worthy of feeling lighter, clear, and connected inside and out. And I love you guys so much. I will see you next week. Bye for now. Mwah.